Howdy people, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are testing out a brand new foundation. This is one that's been getting a lot of talk and a lot of hype. This is the new Sunday Riley, the Influencer Foundation. So I'm sure you guys have seen this before. Sunday Riley is very well known for their skincare, but this is their first foundation, so people were freaking out about it. So this is a first impression review. I've never worn this foundation all through the day before. I feel like because I really try to do a thorough review of stuff, I really missed that deadline to get it up when it's still trending and like people are still talking about it. So yeah, if you guys want to see how this stuff applies and wears throughout the day on my normal oily skin, then please keep watching. Alrighty guys, so it's time to talk about some new foundation. It is 9:30 in the morning. This is a true blue. Get ready with me. I still have my pajamas on. My hair's not done, so just bear with me. It's a process. So once again, this is a Sunday Riley, the Influencer Clean Longwear Foundation. This is $42, and it comes with 1.08 ounces of product, which is more than the standard 1 ounce. So they have 20 shades, and I picked up the shade 130, and they call this a fair with golden undertones, and this is pretty much perfect for my skin tone. So there's a very long description. Bear with me. I do want to get a lot of it read just because I know that like when I'm watching videos, I really don't go and read the description for myself. So what I'll probably do is just insert the clip of me actually applying it as I read the description because it's a long one. So it says clean, natural looking, long wearing coverage that doesn't disappear even through workouts, humidity, or days when you're feeling extra oily. And I am going to work out in this today, so we shall test that. Quick to apply, lightweight, and easily buildable, this medium to full coverage foundation expertly conceals redness, large pores, and dark spots without settling into fine lines. Controls oil but never dehydrates the skin for fresh looking, shine free, healthy looking skin. Gentle formula that is suitable for even the most sensitive skin. Enhanced with Canadian willow herb, oat, chamomile, ginkgo biloba, green tea, and northern truffle extracts to balance the appearance of surface skin redness for natural, flawless skin. But it's a very wordy description, and I feel like it's a lot of mumbo jumbo. So I have shaken up the product, and I'm gonna apply it on one side with a brush and one side with a sponge. So here's what one light layer looks like. I'm definitely gonna go in and try to build up each side to see if we can get fuller coverage and also to see if we get any kind of texture issues, like, you know, if we get cakey or thick or heavy looking. So here's a sponge side with one layer, and then here is the brush side. I definitely prefer a sponge. It just seems to be sitting a lot better on my skin on the sponge side. So with a brush, I feel like I did get fuller coverage right off the bat, but it's also not sitting on my skin very nicely. Like it's clinging to my pores and stuff, and it just didn't want to spread very evenly. It's like the brush just made it a little bit more sticky and like it dragged. It just didn't want to melt into my skin. So we're definitely gonna have to go back over that with a sponge, at least with the very last layer, like just pounce over it with my sponge. I would say this is a pretty light to medium coverage, like medium's pushing it, but I'm gonna say light to medium coverage. I'm gonna go ahead and predict, we're gonna do a little hypothesis, that by the end of the night, I'm gonna be a sweaty, greasy, oily looking mess. Like I'm gonna look like a disco ball because I do have like normal oily skin. My skin is pretty mild though. Like it's very rare that I actually get greasy or shiny. My skin's already got that kind of like shiny, sweaty, oily looking glow. Like it kind of goes past just looking dewy and glowy and just like radiant on my skin. It feels oily. I'm gonna go ahead and go in for my second layer, and the sponge definitely did soak up a lot of product when I used it the first time. Okay, so I've noticed that I've got increasingly more neck hairs. Like I used to have just one that I had to pluck every so often, but now I got two. What am I turning into, Chewbacca? There are two light layers with the sponge, and that did give me about medium coverage. It did build up pretty well, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that if you have a lot to cover up, like if you have a lot of acne or redness or inflammation, texture, whatever, I just don't see this being the foundation for you because I just don't really see this building up to be a really full coverage. So now I'm gonna do a second layer on the brush side. Okay, so it is not sitting very well on my skin on this side at all. It looks very textured. It won't unify with my skin. It's like the brush just smeared it around, but it didn't actually blend it. It's not sitting on my nose very well. It looks very powdery and very like textured and cakey looking on my nose. It's not an even coverage. Now, I will say once this foundation sets, it's kind of hard to do anything else with it. So like I'm going up here and trying to buff out the texture and the cakiness on my forehead, and it just won't do anything else. It did remove like the bristle marks and stuff, but I still see a lot of cakiness and like powderiness that's happening. Like it looks like dry skin, and I don't have dry skin, so I don't know what's going on up there. So right now it's 9:57, so we're gonna say 10 o'clock for our check-in time. I turned my brightness all the way down. I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera and finish up the rest of my face, and I'll come back and show you the finished look. Okay, so this is one of the worst foundation days that I've had in a very long time. Everything was blending horribly, like everything from setting powder to concealer to blush, bronzer, even highlight, like everything looked horrible. It just would not blend. I had to switch up like 3 brushes with everything I use to try to figure out like how do we make this work. The foundation wants to cling to everything that you put on top of it. Up close, it doesn't look good. My pores are emphasized. Texture is emphasized. My skin looks dry. This is supposed to be a hydrating foundation, but it looks dry on my skin. And I don't have dry skin. There's nothing on my face that's dry right now. So I know it looks pretty good right now, but it was not easy getting here. Like, it was very time consuming. I had to put a lot of work into it. And I feel like the setting spray definitely brought everything together and it kind of forced it to like mesh with my skin. Alright guys, so this is our second check-in. I usually only do 2, but tonight we're gonna have 3. So it is now 7 o'clock. So I've had this foundation on for 9 hours, and the reason I'm doing 3 check-ins, and I'm checking in right now and not later, is because I have decided that I'm going to work out tonight, and I just didn't think it would be fair to check in after I worked out and not show you what it looked like before I was sweaty and nasty and gross and stuff. So here's what it looks like after 9 hours, and today was not a very strenuous, like, heated work day. I didn't sweat or anything. It was pretty calm, pretty mild and relaxed. I didn't really do a whole lot of anything. Just to go over a few of the issues that I'm seeing, they're pretty mild. They're not as bad as what I thought they would be. I do have some shine around my T-zone, this little area right through here. And I do have some texture issues in my T-zone as well, like my nose, my chin, and my forehead. Literally the epitome of my T-zone is where I'm having some issues with the texture and stuff. It just looks kind of cakey and a little bit powdery. But I will say it was looking pretty mattified, like not super matte, but more of like a satin matte finish. We finally got to that point. Up until maybe like an hour or 2 ago. My face was feeling pretty lightweight. Like, it didn't feel like there was anything on my face. I almost forgot that I had makeup on, but it's all just kind of starting to happen at once. So now it's starting to feel more heavy. But everything like outside of this area, like outside of the danger zone, it feels comfortable. It looks good, no issues. So do I think this foundation is worth the price? Hell no. I mean, you can find a mediocre foundation at the drugstore for literally a fraction of the cost. Alrighty, third and final check-in. We are now at a little past 9 o'clock. So we've had this on for 11 hours, going on 12 hours. That is way too long to be wearing makeup. I don't like this foundation. It did hold up pretty well through a workout. It feels extremely greasy, extremely oily, and very heavy, especially in my T-zone. And obviously I sweat, so you may be thinking, well, duh, you worked out. But there are some foundations that really absorb oil, and like the powders and stuff, they just make it feel a lot better. I'm doing a lot of stuff with my hands right now. I don't really know what's going on. It's like a hurricane of hands. But I mean, as far as the cheek products and stuff, they held up really well. Like, this foundation is pretty long wearing. I don't really have any complaints about longevity aside from the catastrophe in my T-zone. But when I look up close, it looks like I'm breaking out all around my chin. Do you guys see that? Like, I'm not. And it's not dry skin or anything. Like, it's just clinging to my chin. And I don't know what it's clinging to. It's uneven. It's like, this is the definition of blotchy. My nose doesn't look too good. It looks like it kind of broke me out a little bit. My nose, I have a little bump there. And then in between my eyebrows and like that area of my T-zone, again, same deal. It just looks very textured. It looks like I've got like psoriasis or something on my face. So I've been sitting here for about 40 minutes now, so I've kind of cooled off and the sweat is kind of dried up now. But as you can see, it's still pretty oily and pretty shiny around my nose area, which I mean, I do expect it to be, but it's just a little juicy. There are just so many different like wonky characteristics of this foundation, and I just don't want to recommend it to anybody. But that is it for this first impression of the Sunday Riley Influencer Foundation. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it was thorough enough for your liking. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Before you go, make sure you subscribe. Little button right down there in the corner. See this little square right here? Is my finger over it? Like right there? Yeah, see that? Click on it. It's free. And then right next to the sub button, there's a little notification bell, so go ahead and click it, turn it on right there. Actually, you can't click that. That's just a visual, okay? That's just a reminder, just to show you what it looks like. It's down there, okay? But that's what it looks like. So yeah, I will see you in my next video. Mwah.